Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Attack on Titan Season 4 released the trailer for the final episodes. They're basically jamming it into one giant episode, so I'll explain what's going on. There's a bunch of new footage and Easter eggs here. Watch them break like the last 5 minutes of the series into like 4 separate movies that they then release over the next 5 years. But if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. Of course, I'll do a video for the actual ending when they release it, because it'll be like one giant episode. Kind of like a movie that they might also try to release in theaters and make some extra money on, but they will be releasing it normally on Crunchyroll and other online platforms. Just in general, we have a bunch of big stuff coming up, like the One Piece Netflix episodes, and then next year we'll also have the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender episodes. Of course, I'll do videos for those. Crossing our fingers on that it winds up looking pretty decent. There's also a bunch of animated Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff coming up too from Mike and Brian on their side of things. It'll be completely separate from the Netflix stuff. The release date says the fall. That basically means anytime from October to early December, probably closer to October. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer, this is Armin talking about racing Eren and Mikasa to the tree from the childhood. They talk about the dreams of the future that they had as children, and then they have a series of flashbacks to him and Eren as children. This is them before everything got crazy. This is them reading a history book, Eren talking about their dreams of the future together. This is Falco. This is Mikasa using her gear to get to Eren in his founding Titan form. This is Reiner, the armor Titan. This is Pieck in her cart Titan form. There were a lot of jokes about this scene too in the manga when they got to it. Mikasa's wings. They're literally showing her having the wings of freedom behind her, but those are meant to be Falco's actual wings. Like Mikasa didn't suddenly sprout wings. There's just been a lot of moments like this in Attack on Titan's history where they release promos or you see characters standing in front of the Wings of Freedom, which are the symbol of the Survey Corps, the symbol meant to represent their group being the hope for humanity. So in this scene, it's a very obvious metaphor that Mikasa is the hope for humanity because everyone thinks that Eren has gone crazy and he's going to destroy all of humanity. There are a lot of other metaphors you can draw from this imagery too, just based on what's happening in the scene, the context of what's happening in this moment. Like she's metaphorically an angel meant to represent freedom, protection, courage. She's trying to rescue Eren, even though everybody thinks that he's gone crazy. Mikasa views what's happening with the Titans and what's happening with Eren as a curse. She's trying to free him from that curse. This is Levi. There are a couple scenes of him in the trailer all bandaged up. This is Jean. This is Armin seeing Ymir inside the world of the past. He's transported into that world and has a brief conversation with Eren. This looks like Bertolt crying. This is Annie in her female Titan form fighting on Eren's back while he's transformed into the founding Titan with everything going crazy around them, like they're in the middle of this giant battle. Then all the action drops and it suddenly switches to this calm Mikasa voice and she's telling Eren she'll see him again as she's underneath this tree at the very, very end of the series. Like this is one of the final shots of the series. In fact, talking about trees, there's a lot of tree metaphors going on here. The opening theme song for this final arc is called Under the Tree, which is a reference to 2 different trees. The one at the very end of the series here, where Mikasa is saying she'll see Eren again eventually, like the very final scene of the actual story. The other tree being the tree that Ymir originally gained the power of the founding Titan from thousands of years ago. The 2 trees are meant to look very similar on purpose, just to make the connection back to the origin of all Titans more obvious. And it's meant to play into the whole idea of time loops happening in the series, like lots of time travel going on in Attack on Titan. Eren's comments in the final part talking to Armin, where he talks about the powers of the Titan allowing him to see and influence things across time. He uses that ability to change things in the past, affecting the future. Like he can see different timelines because of the way the powers of the Titan works. But they started to get into this in previous seasons when they revealed Eren's ability to influence events in the past. That's how he was able to get his father to kill Frida to get the power of the founding Titan so that he would eventually be able to get it in the future. And he'd been orchestrating things like this throughout the timeline, ultimately to try and save all of his friends. Even though most of his friends don't know the truth of what he's doing when this is all going down, most of the trailer just shows you the giant battle that they have on the founding Titan trying to stop him because they still think that he's crazy. Oh, you're going to kill all of humanity. First, they were worried about him killing all the Marleyans. They started with that, but then because the rumbling causes so much collateral damage, they're worried about him destroying all of the human race. So the idea here at the very end of the series is that the Survey Corps, all of his friends, and all the Marleyan Titans band together in common cause to try and stop him. Still assuming that his only goal is to destroy Marley as he's about to reach it. The other thing that's going on in the background of some of these trailer scenes too is that the spirit of Ymir still exists inside the world of the past, has the power to create any new Titan she wants, just one of her regular powers. We saw a little bit of that in the previous arcs where you see her shaping titans out of the sand. That's meant to be her creating a new titan when someone in the real world activates their titan powers. That happens every single time a titan is activated. Time is meant to move differently inside the world of the past, so even though it looks like she's working super slow fashioning these new titans, in the real world the effect is instantaneous. She can also create other new titans or previous titans that she wants, and she can turn any Eldians that she wants that are alive into titans themselves. So when all of Eren's friends and his former enemies band together to try and stop him, the spirit of Ymir, who now agrees with Eren, sympathizes with his true goals, will obey his commands, and she starts recreating all the major titans to protect Eren while the founding titan is still active. So she's finger puppeting replicas of all the original 9 titans against all their friends. And even if they're able to stop those replica titans, she can just make new ones anytime she wants. While this is all going down, she can also, like I said, turn any living Eldian into a regular Titan too, so you wind up with a situation where all of his friends and former enemies banded together wind up having to face all the 9 Titans in addition to a giant army of regular Titans. Then you have someone like Mikasa who still cares about Eren even though everyone else thinks that he's totally insane now and needs to be killed. Mikasa is trying to free Eren from what she views as the curse of the Titans so that they can go live a quiet, peaceful life together, even though it seems like Eren has passed the point of no return. They reference this in the poster for the final episodes in the cabin here. That's meant to be Mikasa's cabin that she eventually goes to live life at after the fighting ends and the threat of the Titans are gone. This is also meant to be Eren's tree, the same tree that they show you in the trailer that grows near the house. Just in general, the iconography of the tree is very important to the end of the series as well as the beginning of the series. It gets into the whole concept of the time loop and events repeating themselves over and over again. You have Eren's final tree growing eventually, and in the distant future, another totally different person, thousands of years later, eventually finds that tree, and because he died with the powers of the Founding Titan, when that person falls into the tree, they'll gain the Founding Titan powers just like Ymir did thousands of years ago in the past. Then all these events play out again in a similar but slightly different way, over and over and over, like events repeating over time. This has all happened before, this will all happen again. Armin and Mikasa eventually kind of learned the truth about what Eren is doing. Like, he came up with this idea that he could save all of his friends, but in order to do that, he had to unite the entire world in hatred of someone, and he wanted to be that person. So he basically fell on a metaphorical sword, kind of literal too, because they try to kill him during the series, in order to get everyone to stop fighting each other and come together. Eren's true plan was pretty controversial in the manga. People were pretty split on whether or not it was a smart plan or a dumb plan. But the whole idea here is that everybody is trying to kill Eren, but Eren only wants Mikasa to be able to reach him so that she can actually secret away with the powers of the Founding Titan and get rid of them or hide them, because ultimately there's no way for them to absolutely destroy them. So if a random person came along and killed Eren, they could consume his spinal fluid and become the next Founding Titan, and things would just continue, like the Titans would just continue. Part of Eren's whole plan here is that he also wants to end the threat of the Titans. They imply towards the end of the story, though, that eventually the rest of Eren's friends learn the truth about what's really going on. Like, they don't end things with all of his friends thinking that Eren went totally insane. But remember, even though Eren thinks that ultimately he'll be successful in this grand plan that he's orchestrated and Mikasa will help him do it, is ultimately someone in the future, like thousands of years in the future, will find the powers of the Founding Titan under a similar tree like Ymir. That's why they make it look similar to her tree from thousands of years ago. And everything will just repeat, and it'll be just like another time loop. I'm sure there'll be a ton of questions about time travel when this final episode comes out. If you spotted any other Easter eggs or references in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments, or if you have other questions about what's happening in the trailer. Like I said, episode probably going to be out sometime around October, maybe a little bit later than that, but there's a bunch of other big stuff coming up, like the One Piece Netflix live-action episodes are coming in August.
We haven't sailed together for very long, but I know we've got each other's backs.
The live-action Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender series is coming next year. I just did a big trailer video for that. You can click here to watch that, and click here for my Secret Invasion Episode 3 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.